this hotel because you can meet and greet the Mets. Just like their theme song, Meet the Mets. This is where you can meet the Mets for the next 3 or 4 days while they're here to play the Cubs. It's the official visiting hotel for Major League Baseball teams. And we're going to squeeze by here ever so lightly. We're going to make our way over to stop number 13. So from here to stop 13, I would estimate about 15 minutes. So sit back, relax. If you have a camera, put it to good use. We're going to show you Lake Michigan. We give you a beautiful view, looking both north, south, and east. Again, for those of you who are trying to get your directions, everything to the rear of the bus is west. Everything straight ahead is going to be east.
Come back here.
This is a lovely hotel and a restaurant. You can dine in or you can dine out. It's called the Hotel Raffaello. And it is an excellent, excellent world-class hotel. Now, that's where the hotel ends, and this is where the Chicago residences begin. Everything you see around here is all private house. All right? These buildings here start to comprise what we call the Gold Coast of Chicago. Some of these units start around $4 million and go up. Yes. So take a deep breath. You can smell the money. It's in the air today. It's in the air every day when you're up here on the Gold Coast. So $4 million US. I don't know what that is in European money, but it's a lot. We go 4 million of anything is a lot of money. That smell there is not money. Furthest thing from the smell. So these two buildings on the corner, built by Mies van der Rohe, the brilliant German architect from the Bauhaus, came to the States back in the 1930s to escape the turmoil of the uprise of the Nazi government. Wanted to be a free American, and he had the gift of architecture instilled in him while he was at the Bauhaus. Came to Chicago, became a professor of architecture at the Illinois Institute of Technology, and then later on opened his own firm. So he built and designed these two units. He actually resided in one of them until he got driven mad by all the people thinking he was the superintendent and the janitor. Which I just built it. I'm not the maintenance guy. People knocked on his door all hours of the day, left the notes in his mailbox, fixed my toilet, sinks clogged. So he finally just put an end to that madness and moved out. But anytime you see these styles buildings, you know it was Mies van der Rohe was here. You'll see those later in the tour down in the Federal Plaza when they show you the courthouse. Straight ahead is North Avenue Beach, looking out over that classic stretch of Lake Michigan. Stick around, because that will become unclassic. It changes almost every hour. Sometimes there's 8, 9 foot waves out there, crashing onto the shoreline of beautiful Brook Street Beach. You guys in the back, pay attention to some of these low-hanging shrubs and trees. It really won't hurt you, especially if you're going slow, but if you pick up a rate of speed, they'll smack you right in the face. Knock your glasses clean off. And anybody who is wearing a hat, please make sure it's on nice and tight. We have a unique feature here. This is called the turntable driveway. Just like a record on a turn player. You pull your car in, drop the needle, and then the car will spin around so it's safe to come back out. Brilliant idea. So this is the Drake Hotel. You see it just as you did in 1920 when it first opened. So it's got the Drake sign on there. You can't miss that, especially at nighttime when it's all lit up. And then the building right behind it with the giant beacon, known as the Lindbergh Beacon, it's called the Palmolive Building. Palmolive Building has a lot of historic value because that is the original Playboy Mansion, created by Hugh Hefner, Chicago's very own Hugh Hefner. Born and raised here, educated in Illinois at the University of Illinois, and then he came back here as a young graduate and began the creation of that magazine dedicated to the little bunny rabbits. So way up in one of those buildings in there, inside that Palmolive, is the original main entrance to that mansion bar. Written in Latin is the phrase, "If you did not come to swing, please don't ring." You can still read it there today if you have access to it. So all these buildings, especially the one with the Geneva seal, and one down here on the corner right below the Esquire, these were all residential units back at the turn of the 20th century. So they tore down a few of them to put up the brand new stuff, but by and large they preserved the original integrity of this neighborhood. So today this neighborhood is now known as the Gold Coast. And it's where the Rodeo Drive style shopping comes into play. So look around, you see all these famous shopping names. These are all high-end name brand. And then one block over, you've got the palatial palace known as the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. And then here is the famous Rush Street. This is the beginning of the adult playground. So Rush, Division, and State form a giant triangle. And this is where you come to spend your night, in your early evening and your late nights. You can be out here as late as 4 in the morning if you want to, dancing and bar hopping and listening to great jazz music. There's tons and tons of restaurants. We've got a Morton Steakhouse, Connie's Pizzeria. On the other side is Carmine's and Tavern on Rush. And then once you get on Division Street, you've got the world famous Mother Hubbard's Saloon. You guys ever remember that movie About Last Night? That was featured prominently in that movie. That is the Waldorf. Anybody staying at the Waldorf? You guys staying there? No? I wish I was. Not this time. Next time will be my first time. I'm dying to get in there, man. I just knew. The minute I laid eyes on that place, I'm like, I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm going to get in there for at least one weekend. So, saving my pennies as we speak. A lovely pizzeria here. On my top 5 of all favorite restaurants here for pizza and pastas, Paisano. And routinely, everyone says, "Hey Chuck, where's the best place for pizza?" We have over 100 pizzerias just in Chicago alone. There is no one best place. All right, you have to experience that on your own. You have to go out and figure that out for yourself. But if I see one that I know I like, that I've been to, I'll share that with you. These guys get my thumbs up. Pointed out Gino's East, the original over on Superior for you. That's 1 and 2 right there. These guys are so good. It was the favorite pizzeria of Frank Sinatra every time he came to Chicago. Oh, what'd you see over there? Oh, there's lots of those. Yeah, we preserve as many of the old ones as we can. For example, these buildings here, these date back to 1920. These were people's homes. These were also what was known as speakeasies during the Prohibition period of the 20s and 30s, during the gangster era of Chicago. Worth noting, they built an extensive underground tunnel system to avoid detection by the Untouchables crime unit. So Frank Nitti, and you had guys like Al Capone and Babyface Nelson and Jaime Weiss, all running wild in the streets trying to make money selling bootleg liquor. The proximity to the lake was ideal because they would ship it in under cover of night. All the liquor that we were receiving back in the 20s and 30s was imported from Canada. Obviously, Lake Michigan wraps into the Canadian waters of Lake Huron, so it was easy to get it down here. So they'd bring it in over at Oak Street, put it on the back of a truck, and then shoot it down into this little region here. And all of these buildings became speakeasies. All right, and they have these lovely bay windows that are still utilized today. During the 1960s and 1970s, this area became known as a refuge for the artists of the day, the starving artists. All right, this was kind of a downtrodden neighborhood. Rent was really low, but what attracted most of the artists and the designers of the day were these lovely windows, because it would let in fresh air, created natural air conditioning, and it created lots and lots of natural light. Artists get inspiration from the sun, especially the painters. And today, all those young starving artists have made it, and they have all their art galleries in and around River North. So you can walk in just about any direction, 1 mile radius, and be amazed at all the little art galleries you'll walk into. You'll find some real treasures if you want to take them back home. So what else can I tell you about River North? That is the official name of the neighborhood we're now in. These lovely row houses, maintained and spectacular in stature. All date back to 1920 as well. Some of them actually go back to 1890. All right, so it's all made out of limestone or cobblestone. So the exterior is solid and foundation is solid. The only thing you have to maintain is the interior. So obviously they've done some upgrades with electrical and plumbing over the decades. Many of these are preserved just the way they were back in the early 1920s. And then you can see, for example, two older buildings. One's right here on the corner. It's a giant bank, or it's part of a bank. And then the one across the street from it, they're rehabbing it right now. We also have giant mansions in and around this neighborhood, especially to the north of us. So if you make your way a little bit farther north, you'll be walking through the mansion district. And by mansion, I'm talking big stately estates with 10 rooms in them, fireplaces, libraries, and large green spaces. And then train your view to the, put your eyes to the sky, if you will. And pretty much in any direction you'll see buildings going up, like this one here. That's either going to be a condominium or a hotel when they're done. And then over here, that ground level, they're creating some more stuff here. Further down to the west, as you get closer to the river, that is the number one reason people are flocking to River North. They all want to be close to the north branch of the Chicago River. Again, during the 1960s and the 1970s, this place was all blighted out. It was kind of a Skid Row neighborhood, if you're familiar with that term. Today it's been revitalized and brought back to life, better than ever. And it has all sorts of lovely little restaurants and bars. Club Zed, for example, Monday through Friday offers $4.51 cocktails during happy hour. Very nice place to spend between 4 and 7, because it's easy on the pocketbook, and you can go outside in their beautiful upstairs balcony and atrium. Take in the city from high above in their little park. They've got a lovely French restaurant known as Troquette inside the Felix Hotel. And then one block up here on the left, you can see it's got the black roof on it with the yellow front. That is an Irish pub that is known as Kerryman. All right. Any day you go in there, you'll think you stepped into Ireland, especially when you come here for St. Patrick's Week. That place will be standing room only. And then if you are here on St. Patrick's Day, the lines will be out the door. Very popular. Also worth noting, I'm going to show you guys right where Portillo's restaurant is. And anybody familiar with Portillo's? Okay. What are they known for? Chicago hot dogs and Italian beef. Correct. Thank you. In addition to those two delicious treats, they do the Maxwell style Polish. They do beautiful baby back ribs. They have a pasta bar, a giant salad bar. They have poultry. They do cheeseburgers, hamburgers. The best thing about it is it's all made to order. All right. So when you go and you place your order, they fill it within 5 or 6 minutes. It's hot and fresh. Take it right to your table. It's another prime example of a city that works. There's always going to be construction either on a high-rise or on the street. There's no shortage of people working in the streets or on buildings. So what's nice is you can sit outside for lunch or dinner, or you can go inside, and then you can go to the second level. So it's a 2-level indoor restaurant, or you sit outside. And then when it does come time for dessert, if you look at that picture over there, where it says catering, you see that giant slab of chocolate cake. That's not an illusion. That's as big as a piece of cake that they cut off. It's like a $4 serving. It is amazing. So if you have any room left after eating one of these, you'll be amazed at how big that cake is. So give it a shot. If you don't finish it, take it with you. The Rock and Roll McDonald's. It's a 2-story McDonald's complete with a 2nd-level museum. Then on the other side in the parking lot is a rock and roll museum. Anyone coming down for Stop 13?